welcome back to the Dark Vault. On November 13th, 1974, at exactly 3:03 a.m., a chilling emergency call shattered the peace of the New York Police Department. A terrified voice reported that something horrific had happened inside a large, beautiful home in Amityville. When officers arrived at 112 Ocean Avenue, they walked into a scene of absolute carnage. 6 members of the DeFeo family were found dead in their beds, face down, shot in the back while they slept. The killer wasn't an intruder. It was their own 23-year-old son, Ronald DeFeo Jr. But when he was later questioned in court about why he murdered his parents and siblings, his chilling confession sent shivers down the spine of everyone in the room. He claimed, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop. The voices inside the walls of the house commanded me to do it. They told me they were going to be killed anyway."
Exactly 1 year after this gruesome mass murder, in December 1975, George and Kathleen Lutz were looking for a fresh start. They were a young, ambitious couple with 3 small children. When they saw the massive Dutch Colonial home in Amityville, complete with a swimming pool and a private boathouse, they couldn't believe the price. It was listed on the market for an incredibly low amount. Everyone in the neighborhood knew the dark history of 112 Ocean Avenue. But George and Kathleen decided to look past the tragedy, believing they could leave the past behind and build a beautiful life. They even agreed to buy the house with the previous owner's furniture still inside. What they didn't realize was that they hadn't just bought a house, they had just volunteered to become the next targets of an ancient waiting darkness. On their very first day moving into the house, the Lutz family decided to play it safe. They invited a local Catholic priest to bless the home and clear away any negative energy. But as the priest walked into the upstairs bedroom and sprinkled holy water, the air grew ice cold and a deep, commanding voice growled out of nowhere, "Get out!" Terrified and suddenly falling physically ill, the priest left immediately, warning the family never to use that bedroom. That was when the true nightmare began. Exactly 18 days later, George Lutz's behavior took a drastic turn. Every single night, he would suddenly wake up at exactly 3:03 a.m., the precise time Ronald DeFeo had slaughtered his family. George became obsessed with keeping the fireplace burning, even in cold weather, and his appearance began to rot, taking on the aggressive, unkempt look of the killer himself. The horror soon spread from the walls into the physical world. A foul, sickening smell of decay and stagnant water began to drift through the house, with no logical source. Kathleen Lutz started experiencing terrifying physical contact, feeling unseen hands grabbing her aggressively in the kitchen. When she looked in the mirror, she would catch glimpses of her face distorted into a terrifying, withered old woman. But the most disturbing activity involved their 5-year-old daughter, Missy. Missy developed an imaginary friend named Jody. She described Jody as a demonic, shape-shifting, pig-like creature with glowing red eyes that stood outside her window. One night, George looked up at Missy's window and saw 2 glowing red eyes staring back at him. When he ran outside, he found giant clover-shaped hoofprints stamped deep into the snow. The house was no longer just haunted, it was actively hunting them. While inspecting the basement, George discovered a hidden small room concealed behind a false wall. The room was painted entirely in a deep blood-red color, and it wasn't listed on any official architectural blueprints. Whenever their dog got close to the secret room, it would howl in pure terror and run away. Over the next few days, a strange, thick green substance began oozing from the keyholes, door hinges, and walls. Heavy ceramic door locks and window frames shattered completely on their own, as if something massive was trying to break through. A massive swarm of black flies plagued the house, defying the freezing winter weather outside. The Lutz family realized that the house didn't just want them gone, it wanted them dead. On January 14th, 1976, just 28 days after moving in, a night of unnameable horror took place. The Lutz family has never revealed the full details of that final night, stating only that it was too terrifying to ever speak aloud. What we do know is that furniture began flying across rooms, the walls seemed to groan in agony, and the children's beds were violently lifted into the air. Terrified for their lives, George and Kathleen grabbed the kids, left all their belongings, money and clothing behind, and fled into the storm. They never returned to the house. Their 28-day nightmare became the most famous haunting in American history, inspiring over 10 major Hollywood movies. Today, the house at 112 Ocean Avenue still stands, and locals claim that at exactly 3:03 a.m., something still watches from the upper windows. If the true story of Amityville chilled you to the bone, hit that like button, subscribe to the Dark Vault, and tell us in the comments, would you dare to spend a night in this house? Stay safe, stay vigilant, and never look too deep into the dark. Good night.